Hi guys, welcome to St. James Home Staging, where we talk about all things home staging. My name is Mona and I am your luxury interior marketer. And if you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. So today's topic is going to be about making smaller spaces look bigger. But before I get into that, I actually want to take a moment to show my support to small business owners, highlighting their t-shirts or merchandise that they actually have as often as possible. So today's featured small business is Designs by Morgan. It's called African Queen, and I'll show you the shirt. So this is a pretty awesome tee. It obviously, as most tees are, they're pretty low cost. I just love it for everything that it speaks about. I'm going to link the site below, so definitely copy one, support small businesses, guys, okay? All right, so let's get into these tips. And before I start, I do want to apologize for this lighting adjustment that's happening here. I guess I need to be still and then it will just stay put as well, but let's be honest, I'm not gonna sit still. So I'm just going to apologize in advance. So your first tip is probably gonna be an obvious tip, and that is to pull the furniture from off of the walls. I know you can't do it all the time, but whenever feasible, if you can pull the couch, the sofas off of the walls, you can even create a walkway. And creating those walkways is very beneficial for flow of the room. So if you're able to pull furniture forward off of the wall and pull it off, make it look decent, then definitely do that. It will definitely create a more heightened room. My next tip for you is something that I kind of mention often in my videos, and that is your curtains. Hit those floor to ceiling curtains. Let's try that again. Hit those floor to ceiling curtains, and it will make all the difference in making that room look more grandiose. And here's your next tip, which again, something else that I mentioned, but for different reasons in this particular one, obviously is to make the room look bigger. But the tip for you is add lighting. I can't stress this enough, my loves. Add that lighting. It is imperative that you brighten that room up. Don't just have that overhead chandelier or that light fixture, but definitely have light coming from different angles of the room as much as possible. Not only artificial lighting, but also make sure you're bringing in natural light as well. It brightens up the space, it lightens up the space, and it, as the Simpsons say, embiggens the space. Here we go. My next tip for you is to use low profile furniture. Try not to have furniture that sits pretty high. Try not to have super large headboards if your room does not have high ceilings. And you could also do the same with lower ceilings. I wouldn't really recommend using low profile furniture for high ceiling rooms because it can come off a little awkward if not done properly. It's possible, but all in all, I would recommend you using regular height furniture as opposed to low profile furniture. But if you do have low ceilings or a smaller space, use lower profile furniture. It will make those ceilings look like you have all of this excessive space. It's just all about tricking the eye and making people who see it see something more grand. I guess that's the word of the day, seeing the room as more grand than it actually is. And speaking of furniture, you want to make sure that your furniture is to scale. You don't want it too large, you don't want it too small. You want to make sure that your furniture plays up the space without overcrowding it or underdressing it. For example, you don't want a 10 by 10 room to have a king bed in it. You want to save that for the 12 by 14s or larger, somewhere in that range. But I still wouldn't even recommend if you're staging. It's one thing if it's your home, but if you're staging and you're trying to make that master suite look bigger, I wouldn't recommend a king size bed in any of the stages. People, if they have a king, they'll bring it, but you don't need to overcrowd that space with a larger bed. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, you want to avoid putting a twin bed in there unless you're trying to play up the room to showcase that children can stay in this room. And in that stead, I would actually recommend 2 twin beds instead of just the one, unless you can furnish it properly by like adding a desk or some sort of papasan type chair within that room. So watch the scale of your furniture in proportion to the size of the room. This next tip is probably an obvious one too: decluttering and under accessorizing. Keep major staples in that room if you're staging a property. If you live in the home and you're just showcasing it for yourself, or you're just wanting more space for yourself, you can probably add a few more items than what you normally would have. But as far as staging goes, I wouldn't overdo it with the decorative items on the fireplace mantle or the bookshelf. Again, as I said in videos prior to this, respect the space, respect the empty space. It makes a difference when you don't over accessorize. So yes, declutter and keep your accessories to a minimum. So this next tip is actually to have large art. Find the biggest pieces of artwork you can get that makes sense for that wall and put it on there and hang that sucker up. Try to avoid tiny little pictures unless you're creating some sort of gallery wall that makes a big picture. But other than that, you shouldn't have a huge wall and then a small mirror or a couple of little pictures that are on that living room wall. You want to make sure that you have a good statement piece that doesn't overpower the room, but it definitely is a mondo-sized painting to exaggerate the feeling of an oversized space. So large art is your friend when it comes to creating a larger space. Large art, large space. There we go. And finally, mirrors. Once again, we talk about mirrors, but not just placing mirrors in the room, but place your mirrors across from a window or in a spot where it's actually reflecting the window, the outside. That way it gives the illusion that it's more windows in this space and it's reflecting the natural lighting, and it's just making it feel a lot bigger. Aside from spaces that don't have windows, you definitely want to make sure you have some sort of reflective surface again, or the mirror. For example, if you're walking down a narrow hallway, I would encourage you to put a mirror at the end of that hallway, whether it's a full body length mirror or just a regular sized mirror that of course complements the size of that wall, or you create next to you as you go down the hallway some sort of mirror on the sides of you, so that way you don't feel closed in, but you really feel like, oh man, it's spacious in this house. When you're staging a property, you don't ever want people to think any part of that house is way too small for what they want to do. You want it to feel spacious, and not to feel spacious and cold, but spacious with a cozy feel to it. So mirrors make a huge difference, especially when you place those mirrors across from the window. So these are all the tips that I have for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed them. I pray that you did. If you did, would you give this video a thumbs up? I'd appreciate it. It does help my channel in more ways than one. So much love to you. Also, I encourage you to subscribe. And if you really love me, hit the notification bell, because that puts a smile on my face and it also costs you nothing. So everybody wins. I do appreciate you guys, and make sure you go check out Designs by Morgan. Again, I'll show this shirt one more time. That is a lovely lady with an afro, and she has this beautiful crown with all beautiful words in it, like confident, smart, beautiful, honest, powerful, everything that encompasses you as an individual. So definitely go and support Designs by Morgan or some small business owner and shout them out, show the love. There are a lot of us out there, and we do appreciate every individual that looks out for us and shows us love, even if it is liking a video. But holler at me in the comment section and let me know if there's anything you would like to know about, anything that I can touch on, anything that you need some help in your decor or in your staging business, or if you're a real estate agent and you're just looking to sell your property and spruce up your place a bit. Check us out. We have more videos. We have more information for you coming. See you here next Sunday, guys. Until then, remember, don't be weary in well-doing, for in due season you will reap if you don't faint. Hang in there, and remember, you are great, so be great. Until next time.